McCaffrey, and now the goal from the foul. Give it to McCaffrey. Third and 4. Rodgers to throw. Lofts it to the near side. It's caught for the touchdown. Devontae Adams. That's a wild one. Dalvin Cook. He's going to get a first down. And Dalvin Cook pushes his way toward the end zone.
Gotta get a little sound effects in there. Welcome to DFS. No punt intended right here on DSM Media. We're live as we are on Thursday nights as we wind down the fantasy football season here. 2 weeks left. We're live Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. You know the drill. Smash that like button. Smash that share button. Make sure you share it all out. And make sure if you're watching over on YouTube, it's the easiest way to get your comments involved. If you comment over on the YouTube page, I can pop them up right on the screen just like that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn the notifications on while you're watching on YouTube as we continue the road here on DSM Media to 500 subscribers. We are brought to you, as we are every show on DSM Media, by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products, the GOAT in below-the-waist maintenance. Make sure you check them out, manscaped.com. Use promo code DFS at checkout, DFS at checkout, and get you 20% off, free shipping, and let them know that Jason and I sent you. Again, I am Phil Stifel, joined as always by my co-host, Jason Sullivan. You can find him on Twitter at jsully2121 and me at Beard and Knowledge. Welcome. Jason, how you doing today?
Doing good, buddy. Got the post-Christmas hangover a little bit going on. I'm sure you do too. You're on your yeah. I was going to say you're on your 15th vacation this year?
It's only the 9th vacation, okay? We did not hit our goal of 12 vacations. But I am coming to you live out on the patio here in Orlando, Florida. I was hoping maybe that our house backed up in the right direction where you could see fireworks, but I think we picked the wrong side of the street this week to have that happen. But yeah, it was a nice sunny 85 degrees today. Nice. Got a lot of sun, a lot of Coronas. But yeah, how was Christmas? How was Jack's Christmas this year?
Dude, it was so good. He got 2 Christmases this year, so he's pumped, of course. For reasons undisclosed. But yeah, he had a great Christmas. He's good, feeling better, which is awesome. I wanted to let you know too that your vacation over under is set at 9.5 for next year. So I don't know if you want to get your bets in or not.
Well, it's gonna be tough because I don't have any employees for January or February. So yeah, I got to hire some people, train them, and all. We'll see. I mean, I know I'll take one trip to Clearwater with you. I'll go to the mountains once or twice. We'll see. I'll get it to at least 7 or 8. But if I can get these employees hired and trained, yeah, we could definitely hit 10.
So you might want to. So what you're saying is you might want to hammer the under right now because
as of this moment, if the employee staffing issues in America continue, you want to hammer the under 9.5. But if I could find some good employees, maybe we could flip flop that a little bit there. Gotcha. But yeah, we'll do the best we can. But I'm going to soak up this vacation because it might be the last for a while right there.
Just till May.
Yeah, just till May. At least maybe sooner than I might be able to go away before then.
Probably sooner.
Yeah, possibly. Anyway, yeah, we're going to dive in here. We got week 17 here, formerly the last week of the year, but now with the NFL having the 17th game, there is one more week next week for DFS. As always, we're going to break down the Draftkings slate, the main slate for Sunday, the 1 and 4 o'clock games. And yeah, I mean, I won't lie, Jason. I did my research poolside today, so I can't guarantee that all my information is 110% accurate. But what I did notice right away off the bat, and I don't know if it's because of COVID, I don't know if it's because it's the end of the season, and everybody knows at the end of the season, teams start to rest some of their veteran players if they're out of the playoff hunt and stuff like that. But there's only 2 games that I saw that were listed over 50 total game total points. And actually, I only saw 2 games total over 47 points. Now, I don't know. I can't log into DraftKings Sportsbook, so I was trying to Google search the line. So I don't know if that's 100% accurate and all. But I only saw 2 games over 47 points this week.
Yeah, that's still the case. Yeah, the over-unders, it seems like, have gone down a little bit in the past couple weeks. So that is good right there.
Yeah, we're going to get into that one for sure. That's one of my curious little takes there this week.
So that's one of them. I think that game total is, 51 last time I looked. So, yeah, that's one of them for sure. I just wonder with that game how popular it's going to be. Everybody saw Burrow go nuts last week. Last week was the week to get on Burrow. Luckily, shameless plug, your boy over here did get on Burrow for a $400 hit in a GPP, so I was pretty pumped.
I did. Did you have T. Higgins going with him?
Yes, correct.
Wow. I mean, we could dive right into that game. I mean, that's one of the games that I love. I mean, obviously, everyone's going to jump all over that Chiefs-Bengals game. Obviously, Chase is really, really, popular. Higgins is going to be super popular this week. I was looking at the numbers, and I was looking at Tyler Boyd. Maybe you take a chance at someone like Tyler Boyd to kind of counter what everybody else is doing. He's only 5,400.
So I was thinking that same thing too. The only thing that worries me about Boyd is that he's hitting a lot of big plays right now. So all of his touchdowns all of his yards were on big plays last week. So that worries me a little bit. I do like this game on paper. I feel like Higgins is too cheap for one. I feel like he's been too cheap this entire season. His targets have been there. I mean, his production's been there. I actually like Mixon too this week. I feel like when Mixon catches a few passes, he is a completely different player, and I feel like he might be the way to pivot in this game if you want to get some of this game. I actually like the Chiefs side better, except for the fact of I don't know who to stack because they're so expensive. It's like you can really only do one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to try to convince you on Tyler Boyd because this is what I got up here on Tyler Boyd. Since week 11, okay, he's had all but 1 week. He's had double-digit points in all but 1 week, and that was week 12 against Pittsburgh because he only had 2 targets. And you say he gets a lot of big plays, but that's because here are his targets outside of the 2 targets in week 12. He had 8, 7, 5, 6, 5. So he's getting targets. If he gets 5 to 7 targets a game, the odds of him hitting 1 big play, it's not like he's getting 1 or 2 targets and hitting that 1 play. He's getting 5 or 6 looks a game and hitting it. So to me, that's what I'm looking at with the big play is that he's getting 5 or 6 opportunities every game to hit that big play. So, everyone's going to be on Higgins. Everybody's going to be on Chase. That would be my counter to it. But yeah.
No, I like it too. You're right. He's been really good too. So the Chiefs defense is actually pretty good this year. Their one weakness is against slot receivers too. So Boyd being in the slot and having the 2 stud receivers on the outside, that does open things up for him too. That offense is honestly really scary. I mean, you think about the 2 receivers on the outside, Boyd, across the middle, and then Mixon to keep you honest too. I mean, if they get any sort of offensive line, that offense is going to be scary for a long time too.
So you said you like the Kansas City side of it.
I do.
Before you talk about the Kansas City side of it, I want to say that, as I was looking at all these games, all my favorite games this week are all games that have a top-end quarterback and a top wide receiver that makes things very expensive. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. There's a lot of that kind of stuff this week because there's a lot of really great teams playing a lot of really bad teams this week. So, if you like Kansas City this week, where are you going? Because, let's be honest. I know Marcel Hardman had a really big game last week, but he has 1 big game every 7 or 8 weeks.
Well, so that's because Kelsey didn't play. Kelsey also didn't play last week. So I feel like you got to go. If you're going to go Mahomes, I think you have to go Kelsey. But like you said, it's the same thing with – so the 2 quarterbacks that jumped off the plate to me or off the page to me at the beginning were Mahomes and Josh Allen. But like you said, stacking them with their best options kind of puts you in a bind for the rest of your team. So if you were to stack Mahomes and Kelsey, you're already down to 4,900 per player. Yeah, so that's pretty tough.
Yeah, when you're just taking 2 guys and you're wiping out that much of your set. And I'll be honest, this week there's not a lot of confident value. Like when you look at value plays, you could say, all right, this guy are confident value plays. But because so many teams are now officially eliminated, so many teams are outside the playoff picture, they're looking at some of these younger guys. You just don't know where those value plays are going to come from. So I find it very hard for me to pick 2 guys like Mahomes and Kelsey or Mahomes and Hill, or even if you want to look at other games, like Allen and Diggs or I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers, are they even playing in the 1 and 4 o'clock games?
They're not on the slate.
They're a late game. So that one takes that out of the equation. It makes it really tough for me. That's why I'm kind of trying. I haven't done it yet, but I'm trying to go further down the lineup and further down the line at quarterbacks because it's really, really tough to build a lineup around Patrick Mahomes this week.
So I think I'm going to do this probably. I'm going to go down to the 6Ks, and I like 6,200 pretty much all the way up to 6,800. I feel like there's 4 good options there this week. Justin Herbert, I feel like he's underpriced. I mean, the guy's averaging 25 points a game on DraftKings. Like, for $6,800 for a guy that is going to get 25 points a game. Dak 6,700, Jalen Hurts at 6,600, and Russ is going against the Lions at 6,200. So I like all 4 of those guys, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do like, and I know Jason's chiming in here too. They like Jalen Hurts this week.
Yeah.
I do too. I see it's kind of tricky. I think a lot of people are going to be off of Jalen Hurts, because of his ankle issue, and they've been running the ball so much. But the Eagles have Miles Sanders out. Jordan Howard is questionable. He's got a stinger. Last time he had a stinger with the Eagles, 2019, he missed like 600 games with a stinger. I mean, that's really what it felt. He was day to day, and he ended up missing like 6 games. So Jalen Hurts is going to be more heavily involved in the offense, and we all know what he's capable of running the ball. But the Eagles secretly and quietly have been getting very effective lately in passing the ball.
Yes.
It hasn't been amazing, but he has, done. All right, so Jason's saying Howard did practice today. Again, I'm sitting poolside, man. I'm not catching I'm not catching every little tidbit. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sitting at the water park that this resort has all day long. I'm not catching every little tidbit there. I still think, though, that the passing game has been secretly doing pretty well. So, you can go with a Jalen Hurts, a Dallas Goedert if you want to, because he's played well up and down, but he's played well. You can go Boston Scott, who's probably going to be the lead back this week. He catches the ball out of the backfield. Devontae Smith. I think there's a lot of great options, and I think Hurts has a better chance of throwing for 2 touchdowns and running for 2 touchdowns this week. I think this is a kind of game where Hurts gets 220, 250 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, maybe he rushes 8 times for 30 or 40 yards, but you're getting your points with Hurts this week in the passing game. And Washington's obviously, in my opinion at least, they're kind of washed up and kind of given up on the season. So I think it's a fantastic matchup there. Out of the 4 names you just named there, that's where I'm looking to start with.
So what's the story? Sanders is out then for sure with the hand?
Sanders is out for sure. He broke his hand. They're saying they didn't put him on IR. They're hoping
he could
that
play, right?
Well, the Eagles could hypothetically lock up the playoff spot this week. And if they do, he's definitely out next week as well. But they're hoping he'll be back for that playoff spot in the wild card round. How you play as a running back with a broken hand, I can see an offensive lineman, you pad it up. But a guy that already has trouble fumbling the ball, I'm not sure how you play with a broken hand. But, I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that.
Sure.
But, yeah, I really like that Washington team. The only problem with the Washington Eagles game, I don't really see a confident comeback, on that game. There's nobody in Washington this week. Gibson, Terry McLaurin. You can't trust any of them. Like I said, the team's pretty much packed it in. Any of their big name guys are already on vacation, I think, and booking their tee times.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So I like that call too. I think my second favorite's actually Dak this week going against Arizona.
I was looking at that game and I couldn't find a reason to like it though. I think I want to like it. I think it's the it was the number 1 point game total for the week. But yet both of them kind of Dak, they're not going to be as good as they were against Washington last week. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to do that. And Kyler Murray and the Cardinals have been awful, but yet they're still fighting for a 1, 2, or 3 seed.
Right.
I don't know. That to me, when I saw that, I just jumped off the page and said, if I wasn't in Florida, I would have smashed the under on the 52 points.
Yeah, for sure. So I do like Dak. I think he's not going to put up 33 or whatever he did last week, but I like him. Right. Amari Cooper complained about targets last week, and then the squeaky wheel, of course, got the targets. So I think he had like 14 targets last week or something like that. And then Christian Kirk is just getting hammered with targets too, with Nuke being out. So I like that stack a lot. So Dak, Cooper, and Kirk is probably my favorite stack of the week.
I was really high on Kirk last week as well. I just used them in the wrong lineups last week.
Obviously he's playing a little bit out of position, playing on the outside now, but I just feel like he's their only real option down the field. He's getting a lot of looks. So
right.
And Kyler is due too. I agree with that.
I want to jump back to the Eagles game for a second because Jason brings up Scott. If you spend a lot on wide receiver, if you stay away from the Eagles game as your main stack, using Boston Scott as a value play, he is going to probably touch the ball in that 15 to 18, time between passing and running, and he's only 4,900. So, they didn't take into account the injuries and stuff like that. I think Boston Scott's a great value play in that game. You say that game. The game I looked at two games, and let me bring my Draftkings thing back up here on my screen so I can see the exact prices here. Where is the game? There is it. Where is it? There it is. Miami, Tennessee. Tua attack. I'm just gonna say Tua. Tua hasn't lit the world on fire fantasy points wise, but I mean they're still fighting for a playoff chance. They're still playing really well as a football team. At the very least, even if you don't like Tua as your quarterback, how you cannot love playing Jalen Waddle and AJ Brown in this game against two teams that have awful secondaries. They're two guys I've really zoned in on that I like at wide receiver. I think Jalen Waddle will probably be again super highly owned. AJ Brown, maybe people slide off of him and think that big game last week was, not replicable. I don't know. I'm very high always on AJ Brown when he's healthy. What do you think of that game there?
Yeah, I like it too. I think you said it really well about Tua. I mean, you just have to kind of like him. I feel like I root for the guy just because of all the crap that he's had to deal with anyway. But like you said, like he hasn't jumped off the page, but he's been really solid this year. So I like him a lot. Obviously, the obvious stack is Waddle. Like you said, Waddle's a stud. I mean, that was a really good pick in the draft too. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. And AJ Brown, I think I'm going to be all over too. So
I mean, it's not like Tua hasn't had good games. I mean, week 6 and 7, he was averaging like 27 points a game those two games. The last couple of weeks, he's thrown a couple interceptions that's hurt some of his points totals. And the last couple, like last week against New Orleans, I mean, he only scored 11 points, but I mean, New Orleans is a top team. I mean, they shut out, Tom Brady this year. So New Orleans is a huge defense right there. The Jets, I mean, he didn't need to throw much against the Jets because the Jets stink. The Giants, he didn't have to throw much. So he hasn't had the opportunity to put up or need to put up big points. But this is a week where he's going to need to put up the big points. And that's that. I think that you really got to think about how games are going to play out. And just like I said, that Washington's packed it in. There's two things you got to look at, in my opinion, week 17, the last couple of weeks of the season. It's teams that have packed it in, or games where you have two teams playing each other that are both in a serious hunt. Where I think that game, Miami, Tennessee, where it obviously could be a low scoring game, but it's going to be two teams that, if one team jumps out to there's a really high chance that it could be a high scoring game, at least high scoring fantasy wise, because it's two teams that are going to need to keep going back and forth, back and forth. They both could score on offense, both have weaker pass defenses and stuff like that. So I'm really high on that game.
You got to think too with Tua, like you can't go into expecting to get 25 points from Tua. He's a 15 to 20 point guy. I mean, but 5,800, that's all you need, 15 to 20. So
right, and the other way I look at it. So if I play the Tua, Waddle, AJ Brown stack, AJ Brown is 7,200. That's one of my elite plays of the week. And when you're playing a $7,200 wide receiver, that's an elite play. But playing that 3-person stack there, Tua, Waddle, Brown, it still leaves me with almost 5,100 to build the rest of my lineup. You throw a Boston Scott in there or something like that at running back. Now all of a sudden, you've got all this money to spend. So I think it creates a good base point to build a lineup, in my opinion.
So you're the low owned, underplayed value guy. So if you trust it, I trust it.
Yeah. So. Hey, that's why I'm going with it. That there it is, right there. Okay, so he's bringing up Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is no longer a value play, in my opinion. First off, the last 2 weeks he's had his worst 2 weeks of the season. Only 8 targets over the last 2 weeks, 1 touchdown. The problem is he's now up to 6,500 in price. Like he's regularly in that mid to upper. Last week he was 68.7. He's come down a little bit. Hunter Renfrow was a great value play when he was at 5,100, 5,500 even. So Hunter Renfrow as a value play right now, I don't know if you'd classify it as a value play. I always like Hunter Renfrow. I will always try to squeeze some Hunter Renfrow in lineups. But I just can't say. And also Indy, I think Indy's got a whole bunch of guys on their defense in COVID protocols right now. So there is an opportunity there. But the Raiders are basically done. So I don't know how much I like the Raiders this week at all as a play.
So I feel like he's that guy that I like when nobody else likes him. But like once
so since you don't like him this week, you love him?
Yeah. No, not just in fantasy, but I feel like with just in general, it's like teams started game planning for him now. So he's the guy. I mean, teams are trying to shut him down now. That's a whole different ballgame. So yeah, I don't love Renfro. I'll be honest.
Sorry, Jason. I mean, that probably means it's gonna be. It's funny when we had was it Rob or one of our guests we had on? I think it was Rob. He said, "Don't ever go away from your guy." Like I stopped going. I started going away from Bateman, and all of a sudden Bateman started scoring touchdowns finally. And he always says, "Don't go away from your guy." If I go away from Renfro this week, that obviously means Renfro is going to go off. So if Jason, if you're going to play Renfro this week, Voorhees, then I won't, just so it helps you out there, because I'll do a little favor for you there.
There you go.
Yeah. See, I'm a man of the people. I'm here to help other people.
Listen, we'll jinx it if we need to. We'll put out a reverse jinx if we need to. Whatever we need to do.
Absolutely. So. You don't know who Mikey Miss is, but the reverse mush. That's what we're putting on. Mikey Mush. That's what we're playing here right now.
So just so the people know, I feel like you're the jinxer and I'm the good reverse jinxer. So like you'll say somebody's going to be good and they'll suck, and then I do the reverse jinx. Like, oh man, Michigan's so good, they're going to smoke Michigan State. Oh, whoops.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, I got it.
Shout out Josh Gamble.
Yeah, Josh Gamble. That's right. His real name is Josh Gamble. Love him.
He was pissed at me for that one.
Yeah,
real life pissed.
Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, I got another game that I like. Again, I only like this game. Well, I kind of like it on both sides a little bit. I like the Rams versus the Ravens, even if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, which he's questionable. He may play. Yes, I have him in my season-long fantasy league, and he is like listed with points, projected points, which means he's probably going to play. They've had him by this point of the week at 0 points on ESPN the last couple of weeks. But I love Matthew Stafford this week. Matthew Stafford, and instead of going Cup, because everybody's playing Cup, Cup's owned in smaller fields. Cup's got 60-70% ownerships. Let's be honest. Maybe OBJ, maybe I jumped the gun saying OBJ was not a good football player anymore, and maybe it was a little bit more Baker Mayfield and not OBJ.
Maybe he just needed a good quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because I started looking at his numbers, and yes, week 15 against Seattle, he had an awful game. He had one catch and all. But outside of that, it's 19, 10, 19, 15. I mean, the guy's played for the last 5 weeks really well, and he's only $5,700.
He was dinged up too. That week that he went, I think he had a back and a hip injury. So yeah, I like that too. I actually like Lamar if he plays too. That's actually my second favorite stack. So I like Lamar. Like Mark Andrews has been unbelievable lately.
That was the rest of my stack. It was Stafford, OBJ, and Mark Andrews. I mean, it kills you with only 49.66. But man, I absolutely love those three guys.
So I have the same stack, but with Lamar. So it's pretty much almost the same. So I have Lamar, OBJ, and Andrews.
All right, let me look here. So Lamar is only 100 cheaper. So it really doesn't affect the overall cost total there. But yeah, I absolutely love that play there. Anybody else in there? I mean, we really can't look at the Rams running game at all because I mean, you just never know. I know Henderson's on IR right now, but they've gone Michelle, they've gone Cam. They've gone all over the place with running backs right now.
If Akers doesn't play, I love Sony Michel this week. I know they're saying like, oh, he might play. Like, I can't see Akers playing. That seems ridiculous, but I don't know why you do that. Sony Michel's been good for them too, so I don't mind the Michel play either.
Do you have any hesitation to not play Cooper Kupp when so many people are playing him? I mean, the guy is obviously wide receiver 1 in fantasy football. I mean, he's on pace to break every record there is in the book this year. With 2 solid games, and I mean, he hasn't had a sub 24-point week since week 12, and that was 18 points. He hasn't had a sub 20. He's only had one sub 20 week since week 4.
He's only had 1 week the entire season with less than 10 catches. I mean, targets.
Yeah, I mean, targets. Is there any way that you don't? Is there any way you can justify the price and the ownership percentage with Cooper Kupp?
He's almost like a must play. He reminds me of Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago, like how you just had to play him. Yeah. Like he's in that territory. Like it sucks because it kills your lineup, but at the same time, it's like you said, the guy's guaranteed 25 points every single week. So yeah, I don't know how you don't play him.
9,500 is so much to spend on a wide receiver.
Well, especially if you're stacking him with Stafford. It's like if you stack Stafford and him, you're pretty much you're just like we were talking about earlier.
All right, I got another stack for you here. Let's see what you think of this one. Let me bring it up on my screen here just so I have all the numbers ready to go here. I'm looking at the Tampa Bay New York Jets game. Tampa Bay again still playing for playoff position and stuff like that. Going Tom Brady. Obviously, he came back last week and got 15 targets last week. Antonio Brown, only 6,100 this week. Antonio Brown, and he's obviously with all the injuries, he's number one there. And then coming back on the Jets with a really cheap value play in Michael Carter. He's only 5,100. Scored 17 points last week without scoring a touchdown. So, I mean, he touched the ball 19 times, but counting targets that he didn't catch. He had close to 20 touches in the game last week against Jacksonville. And he's had other games in the season when he was the featured back where he scored some big points. Thoughts on that? Because that leaves you 5,200 if you go Brady, Brown, and Michael Carter.
So I love that. I love Brown this week for sure. Michael Carter, I just love every week. He's never priced up. He had one bad week a couple weeks ago, kind of screwed me a little bit, but 5,100, I feel like that's a good opportunity for that. The only thing I worry about in this game is that it gets out of hand early and they just try to run the ball. So I don't hate that play. I like Brown.
I'm about convincing you. That's what I do is I try to convince you when you disagree. I mean, right. He does get targets out of the backfield, 3, 2, 6, 2. So, I mean, they do. Is that accurate? Is week 8? Did he have 14 targets in week 8 out of the backfield?
Well, they're always losing, so it's kind of misleading.
Yeah, it's definitely misleading. But still, so it's not like even if they're behind, Zach Wilson's terrible. He will dump the ball off to running back sometimes. If he is the clear-cut number one lead back on that Jets team this week, I think it's a fair play. Even if they're behind.
Yeah, I love Ronald Jones this week too. 6,300 is too cheap for him.
Can I say I hate wishing injury on anybody, but I'm not glad that Leonard Fournette went down.
Yeah,
but I was so high on Ronald Jones coming into the season, even last year, and Leonard Fournette kind of totally ruined Ronald Jones's career.
Yeah. I feel like just a guy that deserves to play. I know it's his own fault. They said showed up for camp overweight, 40 pounds overweight or whatever, not in shape. Took him half the season to get in shape. I get it, but I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, he's a really good play this week as well.
Yeah.
All right. So I covered a lot of stacks there. Are there any other games that you're looking at this week?
So I have a somewhat ridiculous one. It's going to sound ridiculous on paper, but hear me out. So Detroit, everybody thinks, they're playing better, blah, blah, blah. They still blow. Okay. They still suck. So first off, DeAndre Swift coming back might be the dumbest play in the history of the world. The dude had an AC injury to his shoulder. Why are we trying to rush him back? I know Dan Campbell's Mr. Tough Guy. He said he's ready to play. We'll shut him down in the offseason. Dude, he's your best offensive player by far. Why do you want to do any damage?
No matter what happens in the draft, he'll be their best player next year too.
Yeah. So I don't know. But anyway, so I like Russ going against the Lions. I feel like in a get right spot. He's been kind of bad, but I feel like he's getting a little bit better. Lockett's been the guy for them. I mean, Metcalf is the flashy play. I feel like you feel good when you put Metcalf in your lineup, but he hasn't been good. So I can see Lockett going nuts on the secondary. Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions, 6,000 this week, but the dude has been awesome for the past, month or so. Ever since the bye week, he's been really good.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about DeAndre Swift. So I thought at that $6K price, I wrote it down under my value plays. And I was thinking the same thing that you were about, why would they even consider playing him right now? Even worth playing DeAndre Swift?
First off, what are you looking at?
Oh, the people in the living room are making jokes and laughing, and they all got drunk guys in the background there. There's 3 people dancing and goofing around in the background there trying to make me laugh. So, and they're doing a really good job of distracting me right now.
DeAndre Swift, back to him. I don't think you play him this week. I don't think the workload's going to be heavy enough. I think the only way you play him is if you come out and you see he's at 2% owned or something. Okay. You're trying to get different.
Is there? I mean, I know it's not really a fantasy. I mean, it's kind of pertinent to fantasy. Is there any way that Dan Campbell's talking about playing DeAndre Swift just as a smokescreen, maybe?
I thought about that too. I thought about the same thing, but they're weirdly trying to win still. I don't. He doesn't even have an injury tag anymore. I looked at it right before this. He has no injury tag. So I think he's going to play, but I could see it being a 10-touch week. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. He hasn't played in 5 weeks or something. So
yeah, basically. All right. So I don't have any more value plays. I don't know, or stacks or anything like that. I don't know what else you got, but
you want to build?
I'm sorry. I was going to bring up a couple value plays first and see what you thought of a couple guys here that we haven't touched on. We already touched on Marcel Hardman. You really can't get confident behind him. But even after the big outburst last week, he's still only 4K. So even if you if you build an expensive lineup, is I don't know if there's any real like of using a guy like him. I personally am probably staying away from him, but it's just a name I wanted to bring up, but we already mentioned him. Another name, again, I've been off of him for a few weeks, and he's had 37 points in the last 3 weeks, including a game where he only had 1 point. But Rashad Bateman, if you like that Lamar stack in that game, maybe sticking and going with Bateman at 4,800 is a name. And another wide receiver, again, we're talking about all these expensive stacks, is Gabriel Davis of Buffalo. I mean, he's been on a complete tear, and he's only 5K this week. Do you like any of those plays at all?
So I probably like Davis the best, but Bateman's actually a good play too, I think. Especially, like you said, that stack is so expensive that if you want to go with a cheaper guy, yeah, I could go with Bateman too.
Yeah. Gabriel Davis is just a guy that's been, I mean, the last 3 weeks he's gone from 11 points to 15 points to 25 points.
Right.
And he scored a touchdown in each week, 2 touchdowns last week, and the odds are he's not going to keep that touchdown streak going. But again, when you're looking for value plays, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for 10 or 12 points out of that kind of guy.
Well,
running back.
That team doesn't run the ball at all, right? So everybody's trying to shut down Diggs.
Running game in football.
Yeah, everybody's trying to shut down Diggs. That's what the offense is. I mean, he's still a stud, but the whole defense is focused on trying to shut him down. So yeah, I like Davis a lot.
Yeah. All right, so back to over to the running backs. Some plays we just talked about Swift. I've mentioned Boston Scott and Michael Carter as value plays potentially as well. I'm looking at Williams from Kansas City. If Clyde Edwards-Helaire doesn't play, even if he plays and he's still pretty banged up at this point. I think he's 5,800 Williams. He's a guy that gets. I mean, whoever is the running back, the lead back, gets the touches in Kansas City
for sure.
At 5,800, again, you're looking for somebody to balance out a lineup. Thoughts on him and Chase Edmonds now that he's back in the fold in Arizona. We like that game. If you're looking for another cheap play, I mean, 5,700 there. So they're the cheap plays I can find at running back. I don't know if you like either of those guys.
I like Williams a little bit better. I was just looking at Helaire. He did not practice again today. So he's probably – I mean, if he practices tomorrow, he'll probably play, but I doubt he's going to play from what it sounds like. So, yeah, I like Williams. Like, you brought up a great point. They're not throwing the ball as much as they used to. Like, yeah, their numbers are big and everything like that, but Mahomes only threw the ball 30 times last week. So, obviously, they're trying to get the run game involved. So, I like that a lot. Sony Michel, if he's the lead back at 5,800, I like that a lot too. But, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right, let's get into building lineups then. Let's do this. We didn't have
first?
What's that?
Am I going first, or do you want to go first?
Would you like to go first? Merry Christmas. That's my Christmas gift to you.
I don't want to go first, but I will.
No, I want you to go. If you don't want to go first, I'll go first, so that I get to pick my lineup, and then you have to pick.
No. I'll go first.
Oh, damn you.
Okay, so I can. Oh, you got the screen. Okay.
Yeah, I got the screen. I got you, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with Dak.
All right.
I'm gonna stack him.
That means my stack is good to go.
All right, I'm gonna stack him with Cooper.
All right. Cooper Cup or Amari? I'm just kidding.
No. I wish Cooper Cup, but no. Yeah. I'm gonna go. My running backs are gonna be Mixon and David Montgomery. So we didn't talk about Montgomery at all, and his numbers aren't flashy, but I feel like his usage is crazy. He's getting like 25 touches a week.
Yeah,
it's hard to not like that. So I like that. I'm gonna go 8.
I'm writing down your lineup too.
Okay.
I can't trust you. It's the holidays. You might try to sneak by me here.
Yeah, drinking all the time. You never know.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go with Antonio Brown.
All right.
I wrote down AJ Brown for some reason, but I meant Antonio Brown.
Are you sure about that?
Yep.
Okay. I'm
gonna go Waddle as well.
All right.
My tight end is I'm gonna do a little Bears stack, which kind of feels disgusting, but Cole Kmet.
He's a really good. What's his price this week? 3,400. He's a really good cheap tight end. Absolutely great value play at tight end.
So I'm gonna finish with a little. Oh no, I already put Waddle in there. I'm gonna go Josh Palmer, sleeper of the week at wide receiver.
I've been trying to get on him and what's the other guy's name from
Guyton.
Who?
Guyton.
Yeah, I've been bouncing between both of them from week to week, depending on who's playing and who's not playing.
So Guyton has COVID, and so does Mike Williams has COVID too. So
and then Josh Palmer's a steal of a play then.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm going to go with the Miami defense to finish.
Miami. Actually, so I want to. What the hell? Why can't I find Miami's defense?
Dolphins. You got to put Dolphins, I think.
Oh, do I? Okay, gotcha. I'll just go this way. All right, so I want to look at this lineup real quick here. So Dak, Mixon, Montgomery, Cooper. Oh, man, I actually really like this lineup, and I don't know if I've ever actually.
No, you said that 0 times.
Yeah, well, no, not just that. Like, I very rarely even consider putting other people's lineups from this show into other contests. I actually really like this build. I think the only play on this build that I wasn't 110% sold on to start with the show was Dak Prescott. But seeing the way the rest of the lineup shaped out, having Cooper, having Mixon, having Brown and Waddle, all guys I like in this, I think this is like I'm not going to say this. This might be our most competitive week then, right there.
Well, thank you.
That's a really great lineup, really well built there.
Thank you.
All right, let me switch over to mine because I actually pre-built a lineup. I might have to make some changes to it because I want zero crossover with you. I want to have a completely separate lineup. But we're going to go with the Matthew Stafford stack to start with. Okay, we're going to go Matthew Stafford. We're going to go Odell. Okay, and we are going to go. Where's my other one there? We're going to go Mark Andrews. Okay, so we're going to go really expensive with that tight end there. It leaves me with only 4,900. Okay, then we're going to go with my running backs. I'm hoping I got this right here. It's Boston Scott. I'm assuming Jones is Ronald Jones, but are there other Jones? No, I don't think so. So Ronald Jones as my other running back. Okay. Wide receivers, I got Gabriel Davis. Right, where's Gabe Davis? There's Gabe Davis. I have in my flex. Oh, that's why I got him in my flex. Okay. So we're gonna go Texans as my defense. All right. San Francisco, no Jimmy G most likely. So now it leaves me 5,500 here. How much was he? I can't believe I could fit. Which Brown was I fitting in here? It had to be AJ Brown. No, I could fit. That's right. I got the other Brown in here. I was able to get AJ Brown, not Antonio Brown, in here.
Nice.
What? Hold on a second. What happened here?
Are you drunk?
Oh, absolutely. 110%. I'm hitting buttons left and right that I didn't mean to. So let's fix this. All right, AJ Brown. That leaves me enough. All right, so this is my. I've called the Matt Collins before. I've called multiple guys before. This week scoring a touchdown for the Eagles is the most booed Eagle of the last 3 years. Jalen Reagor. He is scoring a touchdown this week. Wow. He's actually been excessively in the game plan. Actually, that leaves me a lot of money. I can upgrade my defense real quick. Hang on a second. We can go Titans. No, we don't want the Titans. We can go Chargers defense. Yeah, we can upgrade that to the Chargers defense right there. I like that even better.
Solid.
All right. But yeah, even though Jalen Reagor has been a total, like, I don't want to say dumpster fire, but he's been a basic dumpster fire for a first round pick. He's still a major, target, and he gets a lot of looks. And last week? I believe it was. He had a screen pass that was wide open from him. He dropped the screen pass touchdown. The week before, he had a touchdown call back on a penalty. So he is this close to getting a big breakout touchdown and break game. He's touching the ball and getting targets in the ball still. So Jalen Reagor at 3,300 is still my sleeper of the week this week.
So this is the week.
This is the week. I don't see Devontae Smith getting the touchdown. I don't see Dallas Goedert. I see Jalen Reagor. I may even make I can't make a bet because I'm in Florida right now. But I would make an anytime bet on Jalen Reagor for sure this week. I had the gut feeling on Matt Collins. I have the gut feeling on Jalen Reagor this week. He's getting that touchdown this week. He might even eclipse 50 yards for the first time in the season.
Hey, can we just talk about how ridiculous it is that you cannot gamble in every state?
I know. It's
like that's so stupid.
Like, I want to move to Florida.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Florida has two things that are illegal that gambling and something else, which I won't get into right now. Yeah, they're the two things that are illegal in Florida, but I can't move to Florida if they're illegal,
Prostitutes? No, sorry.
No. I'm a married man, okay? I'm the one married man, Cheers to that.
I don't know how we focus after that.
I know, exactly. How do we focus after that? All right. So, you know what? We didn't really talk about it before the show. But, we only got one more week of fantasy football. But next week, we may not do this show next week. It's been a blast doing this show. But next week, the reason why I bring up whether we will or will not do next week's show is because next week is the debut of season 2 of Fairway to Heaven, our fantasy golf show. And that's really where we really love to talk. So I just want to remind everybody how excited I am. I'm like super, super, like way excited. Like like this excited, Yeah, exactly. Super excited for the return of Fairway to Heaven season 2. And I can't mention things just yet, but there might be some special surprises this year, some sponsors and some different things. So, Jason, I hope you're ready. I mean, I dusted off my green jacket and everything. I'm ready to go for Fairway to Heaven. I didn't bring it down here. My suitcase wasn't big enough, but I cannot wait for season 2 of Fairway to Heaven.
Dude, I'm so ready. I've been counting down the weeks. It's been like 6 weeks since we've had a show or something like that, or more than that even.
More than that, what was the final weeks of the playoffs? What was that?
Yeah, so it's been
week of September. It was the last show.
It's weird. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Some good guests doing football, but we really found our groove doing golf
for sure.
My goal, like, I think I'm not going to brag, but I think I had a great first 7 or 8 weeks of the season last year, and then I completely fell off the face of the planet and had an awful rest of the season. I need to have more than 7 or 8 great weeks this year. Yeah. I need to get to at least the U.S. Open before my fall off happens.
So yeah, but we're thinking big things coming, big guests coming. Yeah. Hopefully, some other things coming.
Yeah, we'll see. I until I get some certain text messages back. I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah, the goal is to make Fairway to Heaven super, super big.
That's right.
We're gonna try our best tomorrow or next week to do this show one more time. Yeah. If it happens, if not, we'll see how the work schedules go. But yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone that Fairway to Heaven is back next week, Tuesday. I'll still be here in Florida. It'll be my last night here in Florida. So we're gonna preview the season. We're going to talk about our favorites to break out, maybe some first-time major winners. We're going to talk about my parlay that I made. I made a parlay of $1 for 4 guys to win the 4 majors in a row, all first-time winners. And that $1 bet, if it hits for $800,000, which means we're all going to Clearwater on my dime. Well, not all, me and you, and my wife, and and Sonny. We're all going to Clearwater on my dime if I hit that parlay. I'm just going to remind everybody that right now.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I can't wait. So again, this is DFS, no punt intended, right here on DSM Media. I can't believe it. I think that might be the first time I didn't say it wrong. DFS, DSM. I'm really excited about that. This has been a fantastic show. And Jason, I want to say, it's the new year. There's one more day. There's a little over 24 hours to the new year, 2022. So thank you very much for continuing this ride with me on DSM Media, continuing to do these shows with me. It's a pleasure. Lag and internet issues aside, I love you, brother. I wish you were here in Florida with us, having a good time.
I know, me too. Speaking of that, I'm going to get the fastest internet I could possibly find tomorrow, so we should be good for next week. Fairway to Heaven. What?
Once it went live, it was fine.
I know. Just issues before.
Hey, everybody have a great night. I'll be live tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. with Trending in the AM for Football Friday. For those of you that aren't tuning into that show, everybody have a safe and happy new year. Enjoy the holiday tomorrow night. And, hey, let's cash this week, and let's get ready for golf next week, man. Let's get this going.
Let's go.